Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney, and today is Thursday, March 3rd. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. These are the stories that you are clicking on, the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio. So let's get started with some updates from the State House in Columbus. The Ohio House and the Senate have passed a bill that would eliminate concealed carry permit requirements. Now, this is something that is very controversial among gun advocates and also people who would like to see a lot more restrictions on guns. And so now it will go to Governor DeWine's desk. Now, currently, right now, before this gets signed and becomes a law, the status quo up until this point has been to get a permit to conceal carry a weapon. You have to pass a background check and attend an 8-hour safety class, and then 2 hours have to be spent handling firearms on a range. Now, instead of this bill, it's called Senate Bill 215, it would allow adults 21 and over who can legally own a gun to concealed carry that weapon. It also removes the requirement to tell law enforcement that you do have a weapon on you unless they directly ask you if you have a weapon on you. Now, people who are against this include many police organizations like the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police, and they say that it could actually make our communities less safe. But there are people who are for this, including the executive director of Buckeye Firearms Association. That's one of the groups backing this bill. He said it was their #1 legislative priority, and what that executive director said is that they're trying to allow Ohioans to exercise their constitutional rights without a burden. No other constitutional right requires you to jump through that many hoops. That's definitely debatable from a legal perspective, and the executive director says that BFA does encourage training, but they don't want to see it mandated. And when issues of safety come up, they point to 21 other states that already allow constitutional or permitless carry of these weapons. Of course, we will let you know as soon as Governor DeWine signs that bill and it becomes a law, and then we'll let you know when that's expected to take effect here in Ohio. Also, from the State House, the Ohio House has passed the Heath Robinson Act, named for the Ohio soldier who died after exposure to burn pits. The U.S. House, not the Ohio House. So this is 2 days after, though, an Ohio native, a Sandusky native, Danielle Robinson, she was recognized at the State of the Union by President Biden. And this bill will be aimed at helping veterans exposed to toxic burn pits. It was named for her husband. The SFC Heath Robinson Act was introduced by Representative Tim Ryan from Ohio as part of the Honoring Our Pact Act. The bill would boost health services and disability benefits for veterans who are exposed to these toxic burn pits. This happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. It did pass by a significant margin, 256 to 174, and 34 Republicans joined House Democrats in voting for this particular bill. Burn pits, if you're not familiar, they're about the size of a football field, and they are in war zones, and this is where military burns their war waste. And Heath Robinson died in 2020 from a rare form of lung cancer. He had served in Kosovo and also in Iraq in the early 2000s, and he came home in 2007. He had symptoms like bloody noses, voice loss, and sores, and then he was diagnosed with non-small cell lung cancer in 2017. So this bill will help people like Heath Robinson who were exposed to those situations get the health care that they need. Now, if you've been following the protest from truckers, it's called the People's Convoy. They're protesting COVID-19 mandates across the country, and they are coming through Ohio. They're expected to come through Ohio today. This is because they are on a cross-country route, so they'll make a stop in Cambridge, Ohio today. It's an 11-day trip across America, and they say that they are dedicated to ending the, quote, declaration of national emergency concerning the COVID-19 pandemic and restoring, quote, our nation's constitution. So this journey started on February 23rd in Adelanto, California. It's scheduled to arrive in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, March 5th. Now, the group says it doesn't plan to ride into the city itself, but law enforcement officials are preparing there for the truckers in D.C. regardless of that. So now let's take a look at our latest COVID-19 numbers. Speaking of COVID-19, right now here in Ohio, there are 954 people in the hospital being treated for COVID-19. That's down 18 from yesterday. Again, seeing that number below 1,000. That is something that we like to see. And out of those people who are being treated in the hospital, 196 of them are being treated in the ICU. The total number of people in Ohio who have died related to COVID-19 is now 36,800. 22. And in the last 24 hours, we've seen 1,196 new officially reported COVID-19 cases come into the Ohio Department of Health. Now, we are seeing signs of returning to a bit of normalcy, whatever normal is, and the NFL is the latest in that particular category because they have suspended all COVID-19 protocols, and they're citing improved health as the reason for that. This is in agreement with the Players Association, so the league sent a memo to the 32 teams today, and they said encouraging trends regarding the prevalence and severity of COVID-19, the evolving guidance from the CDC, changes to state law, and the counsel of our respective experts is what they're citing as their reasons for choosing to drop all of those COVID-19 protocols. Now, if the NFL does find a reason to reimpose any aspect of the protocols, it will do so, and they'll do that in partnership with the NFL Players Association. Speaking of the NFL, the scouting combine is underway, and today quarterbacks will take the field for workouts. And with that in mind, there are some quarterbacks that the Cleveland Browns might be looking at. We've got a top 5 list from our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod. That's on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. I'm going to focus on the guy from Ohio, Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. He's an intriguing quarterback in this class, and he has 4 seasons of experience as a starter at the college level, and that includes the 2021 season when he helped lead Cincinnati to its first appearance in the college football playoff by a non-Power 5 school. He's 6'4" tall, 215 pounds. Good size, better athleticism, according to our Ben Axelrod. He's got great arm strength, and but he could stand to improve his accuracy if he is to become a starter at the next level. For more checking out of those quarterbacks, you can head to WKYC.com. And we have an update from the Cleveland Guardians in the Major League Baseball lockout. We did learn that the first two series of the 2022 season will be canceled in the ongoing lockout. The commissioner of Major League Baseball said there's just not enough time for an on-time start, not enough spring training time for that on-time start. So the opening day at Progressive Field will not be March 31st. So what the Guardians are saying is they are asking opening day purchasers to hold on to those tickets. A new opening day date will be announced, and you'll be given the opportunity to participate in another pre-sale opportunity if your current plan does not work for that new date. And they also said that ticket management for accounts will now go live later, and ticket holders will be notified in a separate email when tickets are live. And season ticket holders who have a payment plan and have all games impacted between April 2nd and 6th will get a credit toward a future payment installment in their accounts. If you've got questions, you can contact the Guardians season ticket service team or fan services during normal business hours. That phone number is 216-420-HITS. HITS. So you got to dial in those letters for the numbers on your phone. We've got that info on WKYC.com as well. And here is something that you all are clicking on. You are all very excited, apparently, about St. Patrick's Day coming up on March 17th. And yes, Cleveland will have its St. Patrick's Day parade. It is back after 2 years of being canceled because of this pandemic. And the theme of this year's parade will be Ireland's scenic coastlines. It's going to be a great show. They're still in the planning process. And the parade will start, obviously, on Thursday, March 17th on Superior between East 18th and East 22nd Streets. I have a problem saying 22. You guys remember I was having a hard time saying 2022. It just sounded weird to me. But anyway, the parade starts on Superior between East 18th and East 22nd Streets. It heads down to Public Square, right on West Roadway, and then another right on Rockwell Avenue. So it finishes up just before East 6th Street. Kathleen Cooper will sing the national anthem of Ireland and the United States at 1 p.m. Then the parade steps off at 1:04 p.m. The ceremonial blowing of the whistle will be by Grand Marshal Thomas F. McManaman, Jr. Very excited for that. And before we let you go here, we have to give you an update on the bride-to-be who had her wedding dress held hostage, basically, by a bridal shop in Lorain County. It was the Candlelight Bridal, and she had purchased her wedding dress last year, about a year ago. They were holding it for her wedding that was to happen in June, but then the shop closed unexpectedly and without any notification. So she was having a really hard time getting a hold of it. Our 3 News Isabel Lawrence was on it, got in touch with the shop owner, and yesterday she received a package from Candlelight Bridal, and when she opened it, her wedding dress was inside. Very happy for you, Lindsay Boyer. Happy that we were able to help make that happen. Big shout out to Isabel Lawrence for making that happen for Lindsay Boyer, whose wedding will be in June. And just so you know, it is Thursday, so that means the It's All Good News show dropped at 1 p.m. on the WKYC YouTube page. Hey, there's a beautiful mural in there in the Lakewood area. It says, Be kind to every kind. If you want to know where you can catch that to snap your own picture for the Instagram, go to the WKYC YouTube page and find It's All Good News, and it will be linked, by the way, in the WKYC story. I'll also tweet out the link _Stephanie Haney, so very easy for you to find it on all of our social platforms, because we could all use a little good news. That's it for your 3 News Now update today for Thursday, March 3rd. I will see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.